Welcome friends to a Star Wars lore video. Today we're going to look at the Rancor monster. Now where are they from? The actual point of origin is unknown, but a lot points to Dathomir, where they have a relationship with the witches there. And they have spread around from planet to planet, most likely so that they can be used as battle mounts or beasts of burden. If they are fending for themselves, they can use their large fists to smash prey, and then with their massive jaws they can eat things that are around human-sized. Any opposition to them with blasters or other handheld energy weapons, and even melee weapons, can prove ineffective due to their tough hides. Now, despite their reputation for fighting, when they are just left with their own kind and are well fed, they can be quite benign and can be domesticated and ridden, as is the case with the witches of Dathomir, who also use them to aid with construction. In terms of ensuring their species continues, the Rancors give birth to live young rather than them coming out as eggs. And they don't suckle their young, but they do care for them. The babies are always born in pairs, and these two children will cling to their mother's back and belly. And of course their fearsome nature is not without some grounding, but this is when, for example, they are not fed and not well treated, as was the case when there was a Rancor looked after by Jabba the Hutt. By treating it that way, by keeping it poorly nourished, it would be angry and attack those that were dropped down into the pit to fight it, such as Luke Skywalker. And within Star Wars, the essential guide to alien species, we have a small excerpt from the Rancor master that looked after it. He says, "Jabba totally misjudged the creature's nature because of its appearance. They are really sweet and gentle creatures, especially when fed. My Rancor saved me from the Sand People. He even played fetch. Is that the behaviour of a monster?" Now we're going to look specifically at the Rancors under the care of the people of Dathomir. Living alongside them, they see that the Rancor will mourn family members when they pass away, and even pass on histories orally of the herds they are with. And at one point on Dathomir, the humans there were the primary prey of the Rancors. But over centuries, they were, in quotes, domesticated by the witches of Dathomir, possibly through their use of the Force, and the bonding of female riders to the female Rancors has helped form the societal structure of the witches there. The history of the planet there says that a warrior woman met a Rancor, and it was an injured female. The warrior woman mounted the Rancor's back, and her eyesight helped the Rancor hunt better, and so it was from that the bonding grew. Now I want to look at three particular strange variations of the Rancor that intrigued me when I was looking into the lore. The first is the undead Rancor. This was produced when Imperial scientists performed what would be an ill-fated experiment. This was done at the Imperial Research and Prison Facility on Dathomir, ABY. Now, of course, as ever with fiction with the viruses, this virus escaped its containment. It ended the lives of many of the people in the area around there and turned them into undead creatures. The Rancor lived in the caves beneath the research facility and was so struck by the virus like the others. He was raised, fought, and then was defeated by a band of spacers who had been exploring the facility whilst the epidemic had been happening on Dathomir. Next up is the Koloi Rancor. It's a mutant created by the Sith Lord Kuolak Fanaya. Now it was the Sith Lord's plan to use this Rancor or these Rancor to overthrow the Sith Empire, perhaps one of the tools he was going to employ. He developed them from normal to colloid rancor through the use of Sith alchemy. The first thing he did was improve its intelligence. He gave it lighter bones and large wings so it could fly. And its skin, already resistant, was given black metallic plating that would be even better armour. Now all these changes, they were not mechanical, they were genetic. So that when these changes were made to a few, more could be bred from them. But he took his time with these experiments. And when he was happy and it was perfected in his eyes, the Sith Lord was nearly dead. So he placed it in stasis within his fortress. Now he had planned to teach the creature to use blasters and other weapons using its higher intelligence, presumably altered for the physical hands, etc. of the Rancor could actually use them. But he had not time to do this. So he set up what's termed as flash teaching facilities in the fortress to instruct the Rancor. Now what happened after this was, later one of them was found and escaped and caused great damage by rampaging in the area. Now eventually the Sith Lord's spirit was brought back when a ship crashed in his vicinity, and still carrying on with his plans even in the Star Wars-ish afterlife, he brought the colloid rancor back, but it was killed by a group of Imperials and Rebel Alliance who entered the facility and confronted him and his plans. Now finally, and probably my favourite of these three different types, is the chrysalis rancor. It is believed that the knowledge that was used to create this rancor is from ancient Sith knowledge, specifically inheritance from the ancient Sith race. In those early years, the creatures were servants of the Sith Empire, performing functions of pets or protectors. And this knowledge was later encoded into holocrons and other tombs that were made by the Sith Lords. They were buried on Caravan. Later, it's uncovered through the research of Emperor Palpatine. They were made using immense alchemical cocoons, and he used this process to make the Rancors stronger. And they resided at the Imperial Citadel on Biss. In the area, droids, under the control of the New Republic, attacked Imperial forces at that citadel and were in a very strong position, but the tide was turned when the chrysalis rancor were released against the droids. The teeth of these enhanced rancor could chew through the droids' armour, so they were no match. The surviving forces of the New Republic retreated under this might. And it's noted here that the chrysalis rancor would attack anything in sight apart from each other, perhaps some instinct that remained from when they were normal rancor, and would always challenge the largest available target. Perhaps something again left over from earlier, sort of I am the strongest, survival of the fittest attitude. And that's, friends, is where I'll end today's video. Drop me a comment down below.